What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle, and getting to speak with the living dead girl herself, Miss Molly. How do you pronounce the last name? Rennick. Yeah, awesome. So, yeah. Usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background before we get into current events and stuff. So, originally, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I've always wanted to be a singer.
Oh yeah. And like, what kind of guided you towards, attracted you towards music and especially singing?
I just grew up surrounded by music. My dad builds and collects guitars, and my parents always listened to rock music around me. So it was just the environment I was in. I think I was just surrounded by it. So I've been singing since I was like 4 years old. Like I remember standing on the couch singing into toy microphones, like when I was a tiny child. So that's just been like my entire life.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. I got two daughters and my oldest same thing, you know.
Hmm.
Um but like was there a particular like vocalist or somebody that caught your eye that you were really like, okay, that's who I want to be like or
Yeah, my biggest inspiration, especially when I was really young, was Avril Lavigne.
oh, nice, nice. And then yeah, cuz you're like they kind of called you that in one of the write-ups, I think, like the Goth Avril Lavigne or something.
Yeah, yeah, the influence is pretty obvious in our music.
Yeah. Um Well, yeah, and I wanted to talk about how I noticed some of that in the videos that I watched. But as you started growing up, was there any kind of like bands or performances you were in before this current project?
It's pretty much always been Living Dead Girl, just with a ton of different members. Because I came up with the name Living Dead Girl when I was like 15 years old. I started auditioning tons of different people, and at this point, I've probably had like 20 to 30 different members. But so the two original members that are still in the band today are myself and our bassist Jordan. So basically, as long as we're in it, it's Living Dead Girl. So we like started when I was like 15. I just called myself Living Dead Girl and kept trying to find members and didn't actually end up creating music until I was like 18 or 19. So for a long time, it wasn't even really like a band, but like an attempted effort at making a band. So it took a really long time for it to get going just because I needed to find the right people to work with.
Yeah, so you already had the vision back then. You just needed to put the rest of the puzzle together, huh?
Yeah, like I had the ideas, I just didn't have any way of like executing it. Like nothing really happened until I like saved up enough money to like go work with a producer in LA and do everything. Like up until that point, it was just like a group of teenagers with instruments in my basement. We'd sit there like putting on makeup and taking selfies, post them on Facebook, and we're like, new music coming soon, even though we weren't recording anything.
Nice. And like what kind of attracted you to that uh type of scene and that type of music, like the goth metal type world?
I've just always loved like the darker look. Like I've always loved wearing like I started wearing black lipstick when I was like 9 years old. I like bought some from like the Halloween store or something and started wearing it. My parents were like, "Oh, this is just a phase. Like she'll get over it." And then like that just became my life. I started dyeing my hair black. I always had black nails. Always wore all black. And then I started listening to like gradually more and more heavy music. Like I started listening to like pop punk when I was younger, like that like Avril Lavigne, Sum 41, Blink 182 kind of music when I was younger. But as I got older, I started getting into more hard rock and more metal. And like I just kept like pushing it further as I got older until eventually it was like, I want to be a professional screaming singer, like in a heavy metal band. Like I used to think when I was like really young, like I'd sing pop rock music, but then I like started getting into screaming and stuff. And then I like it just kept gradually getting heavier and heavier until I was like 17. Then I was even more goth then than I am now. I was like, and same with our music. Back when I was like 18, like our music was just like pure screaming, like no singing at all.
So you found like your balance now.
Yeah,
You
now I
know.
like to combine the two because I feel like equal parts of my personality are like I still love like the pop punk music. I still love dressing feminine and looking girly and stuff. So I don't like to completely narrow my style down to just one thing. I like to play with different elements of it. And I think that when you take influences from like lots of very versatile different things, you get a more unique product. So I'm glad that like it sounds weird when people hear like I'm in a metal band and I'm like my influences are like Avril Lavigne and then like Marilyn Manson. Like how do you listen to pop music and metal and like make it into one thing? Like it sounds weird, But I feel like the weirder of a contrast you have between all of your influences, the more interesting of an outcome you're gonna get.
Yeah, like we go ahead and get into uh what I've listened to so far, what I enjoyed, but um I was just thinking too, like, how so far how's your throat been with like the changes, the transition from the screaming to the, poppy, what do you do for that to kind of protect it? And
To protect it, lots of like tea, lots of honey, lemon, ginger, and also just like knowing when you're doing it right and when you're not doing it right. Like if I'm having a day where it's just not feeling comfortable, then I won't push it. Like if I go to band practice and I have a bit of a cold and it's sore, I'm like, okay, today we're not screaming. I'll just sing the screaming parts when we practice. Like if I've like lost my voice, like one time it was right before we filmed the Poltergeist music video. Actually, I tried a vape and I like burned my throat on it and completely lost my voice for like 2 weeks. It sucked. But so I knew to like rest it, don't push it. So like the whole day on the set of that video, I could like barely talk. But it's just like listening to your body, knowing like when to rest and when to not push it. But for the most part, like it never hurts or scream like to scream. It does tire you out, but I think just like if you know how to warm up properly and know how to like when to hold back and when to push it, like you kind of just go by feel.
gotcha, yeah. And I've been on my girls about that vaping stuff. That stuff's no good for you.
Yeah, no, I don't do it anymore, but yeah, I did it like once last year. I just bought it and like I breathed in too deeply and like totally lost my voice for 2 weeks. And I was like, that was
Lesson learned.
yeah, no, I'm like, I'm a singer. I can't mess with that.
Exactly. And then so how old are you now?
I turn 23 next week.
Okay, all right. And so yeah, so my oldest daughter, as I was mentioning, she's always kind of been about singing. She just turned 21 and is like was big in the show choir in school
Mm.
and everything, and wants to be a singer. So what kind of advice would you give a young woman like that? I mean, you've been doing it, you've been set with this dream since like 15, working towards it. What have you learned, and what kind of advice would you pass on to someone like her?
Advice I would give is to be persistent and even like don't even listen to what other people say. Take it with a grain of salt because for years I had people telling me I sucked, I was horrible, I was putting videos on YouTube. And to be fair, I did suck back then. That was before I got professional vocal training and like I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket. Like I did suck. And I would just confidently go and perform places and get the experience and keep trying. I'd post videos on YouTube and kids at school would bully me for it. But I just stayed persistent because I was like, no, if I want this badly enough, even though I'm not good at it now, if I keep trying, I will eventually get good. And everyone telling me I sucked didn't bring me down enough to make me even think for a second, okay, maybe I should rethink this or maybe I should stop. I actually used it to motivate me. The more that people were like, oh, I don't think you should be a singer. You're not a very good singer. Even like my own family was like, are you sure you don't want to try something else? Because you're really not good at this. But I used that to motivate me because I was like, this is just pushing me to try harder, to practice more, to seek help from a vocal coach. Like, so you just gotta be really persistent. Like, if you want it badly enough, like practice, 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 spend all of your time. Like, you gotta like fully dive into it. Because if you don't use it, you lose it, kind of thing. And your voice is a muscle. So like once you get to the point where you're good with the muscle memorization, like you'll sound good pretty much every time. Like that sounds like kind of like a weird thing to say, but like I always tell people, like once you find the sweet spot of where your voice sounds best, you just keep naturally coming back to it.
Nice. Yeah, good answer. I love that. I'm definitely gonna make her watch this. But so yeah, so getting into the what I enjoyed about your video, I checked out Exorcism, and it was like, you know, like I wanted to ask like what it was like to make that. It starts kind of like, all like Linda Blair brutal, and then then it gets poppy and fun, and then scary again, and then there's cheerleaders, and then there's like perfect pizza, neon signs, and stuff like that. So what was that whole concept like putting together?
That video was so much fun to film because like I said before, like I have kind of like different sides of my personality, like part that's feminine, part that's more like metal, rock and roll, whatever you want to call it. So making that video, I got to play with all the different things that I enjoy doing. Like I love horror movies, I love the gore makeup. I loved that video was awesome because I had like the white contacts in which I couldn't see a thing. I was completely blind filming that video. But like everyone who would look at me on set would be like, okay, you're freaking me out. Like, don't look at me. Like having those in and people try to make eye contact with me was just like freaking everyone out. So like I had so much fun doing that because like I love Halloween and stuff. I love scaring people. I always do crazy gore makeup on Halloween. Like one year I did like a heart falling out of my chest. So like I love freaking people out. So I had so much fun doing the horror scenes. And then we got to the cheerleader scenes where like I have my hair up in pigtails, I've got pink streaks in my hair, like pink nail polish on. I designed all the cheerleader outfits myself and had them custom made. Then we were working with a choreographer, and it was my very first time working with a professional choreographer aside from beauty pageants. So it was my first time actually like working on dancing. So I learned the dance moves like 5 minutes before we started filming, and it was so much fun. So I got to like play both sides. I got to be like scary Halloween, spooky horror stuff, but I also got to like work with backup dancers and like a cute little outfit. So it was just like so much fun because it was everything I enjoy rolled into one video. And then filming the band scenes too with like the guitar was really fun because that picked up on like my pop punk influences. I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn how to play this song on guitar because I don't play guitar on the album or anything. So I like learned how to play Exorcism on guitar and I like bought the pink guitar just for the video. Like I put a lot of my own creative vision into making that music video happen. So like that video was really fun for me to make.
Oh, it was really fun for me to watch too. I mean, it came out great, and
Thank you.
like I said, the whole like homage to the original Exorcist with Linda Blair and the head spinning and all that was great. And I wanted to ask, like, so you're a big fan of horror movies and stuff like that. What's one of your favorite Exorcist movies?
Well, is it cliche if I just say The Exorcist? I do love that movie. I think the first time I watched it, I was like 10 or 11 years old. So it was like one of my more early introductions into the genre. I also really love movies like the Conjuring series, like Annabelle and all of those, because they're more modern. I do like the older horror movies, but for modern horror movies, like as far as those go, I thought that series was excellent. I do love the original Poltergeist movie as well. I'm trying to think off the top of my head because admittedly I haven't watched movies in a long time.
You've been too busy making
Way
stuff
too
happen.
busy. uh
But
yeah,
yeah, I
like
mean
that would be
the
my
yeah, the original Exorcist. I mean, I was a kid, I think, when that came out too, and it just like, that's one of those things that just like really freaks you out because it's like, for me, I was kind of like raised in a Catholic home and stuff like that, so I was just like, this stuff is like legit. This is like more real than Freddy Krueger and the all the slasher movies and stuff. To me, it was just like, it was like scary, kind of, like, okay, I better be my best, and spiritual warfare. The devil's going to get me and possess me.
Yeah, I always thought the paranormal horror movies were scarier than the slasher ones. Like I like Halloween and those ones, but I don't know, I think like the demonic stuff is just scarier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree 100%. And then I also like was checking out the live music video, and that was I guess done a while back then, huh? That was
Yeah,
like, was that your first uh, music
yeah.
video? Or
It was our first video, yeah.
yeah, that was pretty sweet. Now, when you guys connected with, like you said, you had to like really work hard to get better. You went out to LA with a professional recording and vocal coach and everything like that. Like while you were out there, did you start connecting with like people in the label? Like how did you get to where you're at now, where you guys have this good production backing you up for the videos and getting ready to go on tour and the album?
We actually don't have a label. Everything has been entirely self-funded by myself, which has been
Oh
incredibly
yeah.
difficult. But like to record our album, I literally moved back in with my parents because I said to them, "Hey, I need to raise like tens of thousands of dollars to go do this myself. Like, can I just live in your basement for a bit?" And then for each video, like I would just like waitress like 60 hours a week and like make tons of tips. Like people don't quite realize that when you're like bartending or waitressing, like you can actually make like a couple grand a week just from tips. So like I would work like 60-hour weeks and just like save up all my tips and be like, okay, we're gonna make a music video with this. Like I need 20 grand to make a music video. So I'm gonna work this many hours. And I would just like totally push myself to like do everything myself because we don't have a label or anyone that's just like handing us money saying, okay, here's your budget, go do this. So since everything's been entirely self-funded, it's like I feel even more proud of it because like I own everything at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I made it all happen. And I also just love that I don't have to ask anyone for permission to do anything. Like with
Yeah.
recording our album, even with our producer Mitch, he said it was kind of nice. He usually does work with labels. And he said, but working with an independent artist, he said, like at the end of the day, it just matters if you like it. You don't have a whole boardroom of people who need to approve of it. So like I kind of liked having that creative freedom, especially for our debut album, because I didn't have to say to a room full of people like, okay, what do you think? And then get everyone's opinion. I literally just got to do whatever I wanted with it. So like now we have an agent, a publicist, and like a booking agent, a publicist, and a manager, but we don't have a label. We're still like totally independent.
Wow. And that's awesome. I mean, you're talking about all that work you put in to raise you're self-funded and the hustle. I mean, the drive. It's usually the people like you with that desire and drive are the ones that, usually are the most successful. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's like
Mhm.
if you want it badly enough, you like gotta fully commit to it. Like I reached a point where I was like, this is my life and I don't have a backup plan, so I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So
Thank you.
what's like the creative process usually like then for you coming up with new songs and ideas? And you said you even designed the cheerleader outfits and what's like your creative process coming up with these ideas and
I get ideas completely out of nowhere. It's actually annoying. Most of the time that I get ideas is like when I'm driving, like sitting in traffic on the highway or something. So like I'll have my phone like hooked up to the GPS or something, and I'm not going to touch it obviously because I'm driving. So like I'll quickly be like, "Hey Siri, open notes or open voice memos," and I'll like get it to write down lyrics, or like I'll record a voice memo of myself like humming a melody line or something. Because I always just like come up with things completely out of nowhere. Like I never like if I sit down and try to force myself to come up with something, like nothing will come. But like if I'm in the middle of doing something else or I'm busy, I'll be like, I just wrote an entire song in my head. I need to quickly write it down. And sometimes I don't write it down and like then it's totally gone. And I'm like, I had like half a song written. Where did it go?
yeah, I had the next Stairway to Heaven. What happened?
Yeah, I'm like sometimes it just like disappear and I'm like, oh, I guess it couldn't have been that good or I'd remember it. But like I just pretty much always have ideas for music videos, for photo shoots. Like my brain just like never stops. So like my phone, I have like 600 notes in the notes app. I'm just like always writing things down. I have like 10 journals of pages full. Like I at this point I have enough songs written I could record like 5 albums. Like it just never stops. Like I'm just like such a hyperactive person. My brain's always going and like I always have an idea for something.
No, I can relate. I mean, you catch me looking down. I'm looking at my phone notes right now. I write all my interview questions down on each little separate notes and stuff. So
Yeah,
remember
it's
not
good.
to.
You don't have a pen and paper on you. Like I'm glad that we have something handy to like keep track of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you guys are going to be, the Exorcism tour getting ready to kick off here. You're going out with Fate Destroyed. Have you had a relationship with this band before this? Or
I've never actually met them, but I know our manager Jeremy is friends with their lead singer. So when like our booking agent was putting this tour together, when he said like, "Hey, I got Fate Destroyed for it," I was like, "Oh, this is awesome," because like I have mutual friends with them. I've already heard of them, and I know when you look up Living Dead Girl on Spotify, when you go down like when you scroll down to where it says fans also listen to, they're like the first band that comes up. And so many people who have been responding to the tour announcement on social media have been saying, like, oh, I love both of these bands. I already listened to Living Dead Girl and Fate Destroyed. So it actually seems like a perfect pairing to put us both on the same bill because it seems like so many people who listen to one of the bands also listens to the other one. Like there's just so much like mutual connection there that it's gonna be a really good tour.
yeah, you guys are going to be coming to my neck of the woods here in Ohio. You'll be in Akron. I think at the Vortex on April 29th, and then also be in Toledo, Ohio on the 30th. Um, and so hopefully I'll make one of those dates. Check you guys out for sure. But is there with getting set for the tour and everything like that, promoting the new debut album? I mean, it's been out for a little while, but like getting actually to play the songs live, is there like one in particular you're looking forward to really taking the stage and playing for a live audience?
I think my favorite song on the whole album to play live is Dirty Liar. Something about like the riff and like just like how like groovy that song is. It's really easy for people to like headbang and like fist pump to and everything. And it has like the chanting parts in it. So like that song of all of them, I think like gets a crowd going more than anything, even though it's like not a single or anything. That song just like was designed to be played live. So I'm really excited to like play that one to a room full of people because we haven't yet.
Nice. And then like we kind of touched on it like at the beginning, but now you're getting ready to make like a big move here internationally. Now, you're where are you at right now?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. So you're going to be moving out of Canada, and where are you headed to?
I actually just got a house in Florida.
Okay. That's a nice big change, huh?
Very, yeah, very big change going from snow to palm trees.
Yeah, like I said, I'm in Ohio, so I'm like stuck dealing with the snow, but I got a lot of family and friends down in Florida, so
Yeah,
someday I'll get down there.
very
But
excited not to have to scrape my car off anymore.
yeah, yeah. And then I mean, with all the stuff that was like recently on up there in Canada, I'd be like wanting to.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't get out of here quickly enough. I'm like, I can't even play a concert here, so I'm just gonna move to the States.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be a touring musician and stuff, and
Hmm.
that's not really the place for it to thrive at the moment. So
Yeah,
definitely, we welcome you.
thank you.
And then, like, what personal goals did you do you have for yourself now going forward? I mean, you guys had a pretty kick ass like 2021. I watched your one little TikTok thing too about everything that, the covers of the magazines and the putting the album together and the single and the videos. I mean, you guys have accomplished a lot in 2021. What do you want to do in 2022 and beyond?
2022 and beyond, I'm hoping for more music videos because shooting music videos is my absolute favorite thing to do. But the only reason I haven't right now is because, like I said, it's self-funded. So I'd love to make a video for like every single song, but I got to work towards that. But I'd love to do more videos, more touring, get some more singles on charts because that was really exciting. Finding out that Alive was on a Billboard chart, like I started crying. I was so excited. Some more charts, more magazines, more touring. I definitely want to play more festivals because we've only ever played one festival so far in Canada. It was just like a pretty small one, but we have one in Orlando on the 23rd of April. I think it's the 23rd, called Earth Day Birthday. And like we're playing with like Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides, Ice Nine Kills, Godsmack, 3D's Grace, like so many big bands that like when my booking agent like sent me that confirmation email, like I just sat there with like my jaw hanging open for like a good 5 minutes. I was just like, you're kidding, right? Like Motionless in White, Black Veil Brides. Like if someone told 13-year-old Molly that this would be happening, she would have like bawled her eyes out. So like the chance to play with more big bands would be amazing, especially bands like Motionless in White stuff who I even grew up listening to. So just yeah, like more of everything we've done so far, like more of that and bigger.
Nice. And then what's like something that you feel like that you could still improve and learn from?
I feel like I still could improve and learn from both my vocal performances and my songwriting. Just because like I started all of this so young, I feel like as I get older, I can only get better. Like even seeing a huge dramatic improvement from like a year of singing lessons, I was like, okay, if I got that much better in a year, like imagine how good I'll be when I'm 25 or when I'm 30. Like I feel like there's no limit to how much I can improve. So I just keep pushing myself because I'm like, I want to know what my new limit is. I want to know how much bigger my range got now. I want to see if I can write an even better song than the song that I thought was my best song. Like I constantly think like, okay, like I haven't peaked yet. Like how much better can I get?
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely love the attitude. Um, so I want to ask you some of the questions I normally ask guests that I have on. Um, who would you say your top three bands are?
To like just listen to or like to see in concert or
Yeah, like I mean your favorite band. So either or.
I'd say Motionless in White, Starset, and Hailstorm.
Nice. And then is there a particular song that you feel has inspired you in life that's like a go-to whenever like you need something extra to pick you up?
I would say I'm With You by Avril Lavigne.
Nice. And then three people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today.
Oh, that's hard. Avril Lavigne, obviously. Um, this is gonna sound totally random, but Walt Disney is one of my biggest idols. So Avril Lavigne, Walt Disney, and who would a third one be? Probably Lizzie Hale.
Awesome. And then, what was your favorite toy as a child?
Barbies
Barbies.
or stuffed animals, either one.
And then, are there any causes or organizations that you support that you would encourage other people to check out?
I do, yeah. I actually have a fundraiser going on right now for my birthday next week. Every single year, I raise money for my local animal shelter. Because my family alone, we have 5 rescue cats and 1 rescue dog. So we are huge animal people. And since, 5 cats and 1 dog's already enough, I can't really keep adopting. I just keep donating to the shelter. So I still feel like I can help somehow.
That's great. And then, were you a big fan of wrestling or MMA?
I'm not. No, I don't watch a single sport.
No. All right. And then, so if people are like hearing about you in my audience for the first time and want to check you guys out, learn more about Living Dead Girl, try and catch you when you come through town, or maybe buy online something to support you guys to help you achieve your dream and make more videos and all that stuff, where would you send them?
livingdeadgirl.ca.
Okay.
So that's our
uh,
official site. It has the tour dates, links to tickets, all of our videos are there, streaming links, all of our merchandise. Like everything is on that one site.
awesome. Great. Well, hey, Molly, thank you for your time. I really appreciate talking with you, especially with all the stuff you got going on. You making the time for us, and looking forward to you guys coming through tour here. And real quick, like one last favor before I let you go, you mind cutting a promo ID for the show?
Yep.
Yeah, just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Today's Boondoggle. Okay. Hi, I'm Molly Rennick from Living Dead Girl, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome, Molly. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
and
for.
good luck with everything. I keep that attitude because you're gonna go far.
Thank you.
All right, bye bye.
Take care.